Welcome to Beachside Tech Talk. Here we are once again at 1340 a.m. KOMY, home of Schoolhouse Radio. We are in Santa Cruz County, and it's a good day. We had a tsunami warning for all of us that are local.
My friend texted me about that last night, and he's like, dude, 8.7 earthquake just hit in Russia. There's a tsunami. If you need a place to stay, come to Gilroy. I'm like, thank you very much, sir. I'll check it out. And then luckily for all of us living here, it wasn't really anything. I think when I found out an actual number, it was like less than a foot. But it was still a scary thing to see, for sure.
Well, we're right on the sand, so obviously it matters for us, but we are tucked away. We, our specific house, when we were in Manila, holidays a year and a half ago,
Yeah, that was crazy.
we saw our house and the waves just splashing up on our balcony. But the way our house is kind of tucked up, it was fine. When we had those crazy storms, that was quite something. But they closed down Capitola Junior Lifeguards today. So our 8-year-old son, he went out there all pumped to go swim, run, swim, push up, jumping jack, swim, run, swim, push up, jumping jack, the rhythms of junior guards. And they sent him back home. So here he is reading a book. So here we are. Today's topic is business and finance. And let me start with this. Imagine slashing boardroom costs by 50% while boosting profits. Web3 and AI technologies are making this real right now. We can see that through all the news stories that we have been looking at for today's topic. And this is episode 28 of Beachside Tech Talk, where we're diving into how these game-changing technologies are empowering executives, advisors, board members, and everyone else involved in the business and finance world to do bold action. Nigel is cracking up. I'm not sure if it's the way I look or if it's something I said, but Nigel,
that glorious beard.
Tell me about the joy that you're feeling in your heart right now.
Oh, so much joy. The gratitude is coming in full circle. Of course, sitting across from you, seeing you smiling and just being in the room. It's good energy. But a few things came to mind. One, when you started talking about the tsunami, which I kept seeing on my phone.
Right.
And being, born and bred in Brooklyn, concrete jungle. I don't know anything about surfing or anything. But the first thing that came to mind, we were talking about over breakfast, is like, somebody's going to go out there and try and surf that thing. And you're like, nah, nobody's going to do it. I was like, are you kidding me? That's going to happen. They're going to do that.
Tsunami's not like a wave.
Yeah, it's kind of like this
1 to
massive
10
It is
feet
kind of like a
of
wave.
water. No, it's
A
like
really
1 to
big
10
wave.
feet of water that never
Yeah.
stops.
It's just a wall of water.
And you can't surf that?
No,
because
definitely
it's not really a
Ask
break.
ChatGPT. I bet you somebody tried to do that.
It doesn't break until you get on the sand.
That'd be a different kind of tsunami.
No, other things will break though.
You're talking about a
That's
rogue.
true.
You're talking about a rogue wave. A rogue wave, somebody might try to surf, but a tsunami is quite a bit different. Have you guys seen that movie Impossible?
No.
It's the couple with the 2 kids, and the tsunami hits, and it was quite the story. Definitely worth a watch.
Was that San Francisco in the movie?
No, it was Ian McGregor, and I can't remember the other. Tom Holland, I think, was in it. That was like one of his first movies before he was Spider-Man. Yeah.
So let me keep going on my gratitude. So then you talked about
hit
the
us,
junior guard.
champion.
You
Champion the gratitude right here.
I was thinking about my dad. You're talking about.
I'm thinking about
Nathan,
my dad right now.
See, samesies. Yeah,
Same
So you're saying, oh, Nate, you missed the junior guards and he's reading a book. Well, that was my whole childhood. It was like, kids now get to say they're bored. Here's what would happen to me when it's like, I'm bored. Go read a book. And that wasn't a suggestion, because now you're actually going to read the book. So I wasn't bored a lot, like ever.
My mom says, only boring people are bored. Why are you so boring?
And your mom's a
Wait,
genius.
really?
Yes, that's what she would say to me. And I think to myself, well, that was not what I was expecting. I thought you'd find me a movie, you buy me a new toy, not telling me I'm boring. That's why I'm bored.
My mom would just say,
Our mom.
yeah. She would say what you said. I was thinking of something. I was thinking of something else, far back memory. Instead of saying anything, it would just be a smack, and then, oh, Are you bored now?
Are you bored now?
The answer would be no. I'm feeling something.
Yeah, well, that's one way to shake it.
Two-piece
one
of
way to
wisdom.
shake
I
it.
get it.
Yeah, you get a 2-piece.
All right. Well, we're having fun, which is part of the reason why we do this, is to laugh together.
I think about 10% of our on-air time has been filled with laughter.
Well, I think the audience probably prefer 50 or 60 or 70% of our air.
Yeah.
On
And
air
we
time.
need to increase that to about 70%, 10%. That's a
70%.
low bar. We need to get
If you look at the successful radio programs that have crossed over to live streaming, well, you think of things like The Breakfast Club. It's basically just a few friends constantly laughing, having fun, inviting people. Everyone wants to go on their show because that's a fun place to be. I'm going to laugh.
Yeah.
People, they're going to think I'm funny. They're going to bring the best out in me. I mean, that's the whole point of these types of things.
How about when you see somebody or a couple of people like laughing intensively? And
Have you ever laughed
you
so
see their
hard
face and
your eyes start
you
watering?
go, I want that. Whatever is going on over
I
there,
want some of that.
I really need a little bit of that because they're having way too much fun. And can I get in?
It's like when you're with a group of people and they all start just dying over something and you're sitting there waiting until they tell you what it is so that you can laugh too. Like I've done that so many times because laughter feels so good.
So good.
It makes me so happy. And it's like one of the parts about life that I love so much. And so anytime I get to just hear something that makes me laugh, like, yes.
Best
I so
medicine.
approve.
The best medicine.
It is.
It is.
So I saw something that was released by Microsoft this morning, and it is the top 40 jobs that are becoming commodities due to AI. And
Commodities?
Meaning that AI can do the job. It's commoditized, meaning it may not need a human to do it at all, or it may have a human support an AI doing it. And then the top 40 jobs that have nothing to worry about. So DJs were on the top 40 that have been commoditized. And you can see this if you have Spotify. There was a thing that just came out in the Good Times, the local paper. And the front cover said, it was an article about Streetlight Records. And it was like, your Streetlight Records employee, they're the ones that know what you want. AI doesn't know what you want. And the reality is, I disagree with that. I go into Spotify, I click the DJ button, and that AI sounds like a DJ, and it knows what I listen to. It knows the songs I skip. It knows the songs I repeat over again. It knows the things that I'm interested in. It's been tracking me for the last decade, and it definitely builds an epic playlist for me. And so there's no way I'm going to walk in a Streetlight Records and somebody's going to look at me and be like, oh, I know exactly what you want to hear. That's my personal opinion. So for DJs, if you're at a radio station and you're not having Beachside Tech Talk like we are, you're not Dave Ramsey, which was just on air, which is, talking finance, taking calls, but you're just like Good Morning Vietnam and playing some music. I'm not totally sure that is a long-term opportunity unless you are the best of the best, because the AI can do it pretty dang well. And you can't even really tell it's AI unless you know it.
Yeah.
So let me read a couple of these that are potentially in trouble. Historians. Makes sense. I mean, you can have AI do the history, although AI lies to us a lot. So, is it actually being honest?
So many times it gives me a link to something and I tap on the link.
Sales reps, customer service representatives, telephone operators, ticket agents, travel clerks, brokerage clerks, telemarketers, concierges, political scientists, mathematicians, editors, public relations specialists, ad agency specialists. So the data scientists, web developers, models. I mean, AI can make a beautiful woman, a beautiful guy, a little cute baby, a healthy looking old person.
For a long time.
Unlimited time.
They really don't gain any weight. They don't need any dermatology. They don't have to whiten their teeth.
That's right.
They don't have to comb their hair, and they don't have that weird look on their face that day when they had the bad morning.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
So
let me read some that are looking pretty safe. Embalmers. So all those that want to embalm.
Would you stop that?
You are
this is not a mortality episode.
You are in a safe place. If that's your business.
Death, you're killing me.
Ship engineers, nursing assistants, Automotive. Anybody in automotive? Anybody in dental? Dishwashers. Now I'm assuming that
Did
they're
you say
talking
dishwashers?
Yeah.
Oh,
someone a human that washes
I don't know why
dishes.
in my mind
Roofers,
a physical like dishwasher machine popped up with like a face on it.
paving, housekeeping, and house cleaning.
Yeah, a lot of those manual
Anybody
labor things.
in the trades at this point, massage therapists, anybody in medical, anybody in the trades, those are safer. Now, I don't think Microsoft's taken into account the potential of robots hitting the scene, and there's 8 billion humans, and then there's 800,000 robots, and then there's 8 million robots, and then 800 million robots, and then all of a sudden there's more robots than humans. Then these different things may be in trouble. Nevertheless, since Microsoft released this morning, we're talking business and finance. I do think it's important that people that are in the business world understand that this is the freshest data that's just come out from a multi-trillion-dollar company that has the resources to do the research and do the predictive analysis based on, hey, these are the types of jobs that if you have a 16-year-old son, maybe they wouldn't want to go and try to master skills in these types of areas. And here's jobs that have a higher percentage and a higher potential of having a long-term career. So this is the type of thing that that I thought would be worthwhile sharing. Any thoughts on that stuff?
Yeah,
I bet you do have thoughts, my friend.
I know I'm gonna come in like a contrarian here. The DJ thing. I listen to a lot of Spotify. I listen to a lot of music. I have a playlist now of dance hall songs, reggae, that I grew up listening to when I was younger.
It makes me feel so happy.
Spotify could never create that list. They could take my list, but they couldn't create that list. If you've ever been to a really great party with a really great DJ, Spotify can't do that. It can take, I know Danny listened to this song or Malakye listened to this song, and I'm just going to play this song, and it's going to look like, whoa, you didn't do anything. You just know the songs I played. If you gave me a list of the songs you listened to and I just started playing them, it would look like I'm amazing. But it's not, I think it's a lot more nuanced. Then there's...
What about the DJ that's in that party is different than Spotify? What do you think?
The DJ has the advantage of the human element reading the crowd and all of the AI if it chooses to use it. Now, a lazy human, not so much. But for me, and I'm only speaking for myself, if I have access to the same tools, I bet on myself 1,000 million times every single time because I have the same thing. So I don't think I don't think that's the case. Robotics is a great that is a fascinating piece of it because you see houses being built with robotics and 3D printing, things of that nature. Sure. I think telemarketing, I don't even think that's a good category because telemarketing sucks with humans. It doesn't matter. Like, what is it going to get worse? Like, that's just not a good metric. I think ultimately anything that does not, hybrid will always be better. And if you're willing to put in the work and use the tools, you're going to be able to excel at that. It's just, what your vision is in mind. And it's what we talked about before. Look at is it impossible? Because if you have the money, you think about masseuse. You mentioned masseuse. A robot could be great, but I'd rather a human.
Yeah, I mean, we have a massage chair, a couple of them at the gym, and there's no doubt that is a good massage. Like, it is certainly affordable because it's included in the membership. So it was easy. When I was doing my 40-day water fast, I was in that massage chair like almost every single day for my last 20 days because my body hurt. It was weird the way I felt when I had no food in my system, and which was a recent thing that I had done. For those that were not aware,
it's so unique when you do something like that.
So I would go sit in that massage chair for a half hour, probably 3, 4, 5 days a week. It was good, but nothing compared to going to like an expert sports masseuse that knows exactly what's going on, can feel things, and then can kind of work on something. And it's not just a machine.
They're able to really know how to take the input of what they find based off feeling like if your muscle is tight over here or over there, they know how to take that and to make it so that they know what to do next.
Yeah, they're like an artist. They're like a dancer. A great massage therapist is like a dancer, right? And they customize that dance based on the music of your body. I feel like that's an article that should be written. Go ahead, AI. Take it and run with it. Let me mention some news that I've seen that's kind of entrepreneurial focused to be able to share some things before we hit the break in 8 or 9 minutes. Globally, it looks like 1 trillion assets have been tokenized, primarily real estate, and primarily AI is using cryptography to tokenize commercial real estate. So it's the number one way that AI is using crypto on a global scale is it's taking this commercial building worth 500 million, these commercial buildings worth 3 billion. It's tokenizing it, putting all of the manual paper assets and data on chain. So that way they can either sell a fraction of a percent to 10,000 people, or if they sell the entire building, it's just a matter of moving that token from one.
What's the advantage of
the
having a fraction of a percent of a building?
Well, you and I could never buy a $50 million commercial building. At least that would be the assumption, right? The average person will never be able to do that.
I know what you mean.
And so instead of doing that, what if you could buy 100,000th of it? So instead of buying a $50 million building,
But you still like the
you spend
building, but you don't have to buy
You spend $500, and when you spend $500, you own a small fraction of it. And that way, if it goes from being a $50 million building to being worth an $80 million building, your $500 just became $800. So it's a different way to invest, where you're not investing on the stock market, which is kind of up and down throughout the day, very highly manipulated. You're investing in real estate, commercial real estate, which still can be highly manipulated, but not in the same regard. And when I was at Hedera, which is one of the top 10 cryptocurrencies in the world, it's the blockchain that's run by Google, Boeing, IBM. That was their big focus. Their whole focus was like using AI and using their distributed ledger technology to tokenize as many massive assets as possible. And so it's amazing that it's already hit $1 trillion in liquid assets.
Way quicker than I thought it was. I'd always thought it was quite low. I kind of want to ask, can someone here describe, like, for the audience who isn't completely familiar with what crypto or cryptography, what that all might mean? Can we re-describe that?
Well, cryptography is a very advanced mathematics. It was considered a weapon of mass destruction during World War II. Cryptography is the mathematical algorithm that Satoshi Nakamoto used when they released the Bitcoin white paper about 16 years ago. That's how Bitcoin was built. And cryptography is how all the other blockchain protocols, whether it's Ethereum or Hedera or any of these different protocols, have been developed. It is basically, when you think of it, just think of it as a public spreadsheet that anyone can put content onto this public ledger, and the ledger is run by everyone. So it's like technology built for the people, by the people. And the reason why the tokens go up in value, crypto tokens, is because that token's attached to a certain protocol, and people believe that protocol is going to be meaningful now and into the future. So the reason why Bitcoin is worth $120,000 is because people think that Bitcoin is going to be the financial backing of the world, and that's why one day people predict Bitcoin will be worth millions of dollars. Where other people say, no, Bitcoin will not make it. It's too slow. It burns up too much energy. It's too cumbersome. It's never going to make it. It's a huge Ponzi scheme. It's going to zero. Now, only one of those two things can be true. But what won't be true is Bitcoin won't stay at $120,000 forever. So either it continues to go up in value and it continues to become more and more important because it's scarce. There's only 21 million Bitcoin. And it becomes the centerpiece for finance globally. Or something else does, and Bitcoin becomes one of many, or it just goes out and it was for a time being. So cryptography is usually thought around crypto tokens. People that want to buy HBAR to believe in the future of Hedera. They want to buy ETH. They believe in the future of the Ethereum network, whatever it may be. And so you just think of distributed ledgers as like public spreadsheets. It's a spreadsheet that you can never change it. So you can't go in and edit. So imagine a public spreadsheet with no edit button. So whatever you put on this ledger, the whole world can see what you put. So it's immutable, can't be changed. It's trustworthy because whatever is there you can't change it. You know, it can't be modified. It can only be, you can give references.
Wait, does that mean that it has to confirm on every single like possible device for it to be confirmed? How does that work?
There's two types of distributed ledgers. One is the blockchain, where every single block basically is tied to all the information of all the other blocks. So anybody that has a Bitcoin server, that Bitcoin server basically is connected to all the information that's ever happened on Bitcoin. And then the other one is Hashgraph, which is what Hedera is built on. And a Hashgraph is built a bit differently, which is why it's so much faster, uses so much less energy, and is able to be a lot cheaper. And of course, that makes sense because the blockchain that was built for and used by the Googles and IBMs of the world. Let me get into some more news before we wrap up in the next few minutes.
Yeah, thanks.
So United States Bank rolls out a AI Web3 hybrid. And the hope is to revolutionize fraud detection and to save billions of dollars. This was just posted in a LinkedIn article. When you get more localized, Fresno firms tokenize assets via Web3 crypto, and they've unlocked $10 million in decentralized loans. So that was a new press release that just hit yesterday. And then super local, this is interesting. Our team, we have a news site called AmplifyWeb3.ai. We've used that for about 1.5 years. And our team wrote an article based off of our radio show, Beachside Tech
Julia.
Talk. Yeah, that's right. Good job, Julia. Brings the future to radio. And she had referenced that there was a local AI company that raised $5 million in funding. And so when I asked for kind of the news updates locally, our own site got picked up. I thought that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
So any other local news, global news on business and finance that has hit your guys' radar before we go to commercial break in a couple minutes?
I see there's some things here that I found interesting. Only the broad strokes. At least that's what's popping up in some of the blogs regarding blockchain used, the application anyway, to ensure that there's no voter fraud, which I think is a great application. I feel like there's so much to be explored there. I'm not going to comment on even the depths of where this is going, but I think it's going in the right direction. Anything that is going to add transparency that can be explained, because to Malakye's point, asking about cryptocurrency is an important, thing. And all that matters is whether the person understands. I think we need to move further away from how many times we say things to the one time that the person understands, and the individual, not the masses. Well, everybody understands. I hear a comment often, which is, it's intuitive. And my response directly is, to whom? We have to be more accountable, especially with something that starts to become very heady, and complicated, or it could be, to not overwhelm people and just speak plainly so that they understand, analogize, whatever the case may be. But this application of voting fraud, tying it to that accountability factor, I think is something that is has me optimistic, but I also know and acknowledge that it scares many people because it is exactly that. You will not be able to do the same things that you've been doing with impunity. There will be, consequences if you're discovered, and it will be discovered, and no amount of time is going to go by that it's not going to be there, because it's permanent. So that was one application that I thought was very good.
So from local startups to the big players of the world, these new technologies are supercharging business and finance to improve in new ways. So dive in, learn something new, or share this episode, but let's go.
All right. Well, welcome to the studio, Internet. I'm here with the four of us. Also, Reeza's here, as well as Nathan. Nigel, Danny, any thoughts you guys want to talk with the Internet about, or just have a conversation amongst the two of you?
Well, I actually wanted to talk a little bit about, go a little bit further into what Malakye was asking about.
I wanted to add
cryptocurrency.
yeah.
Go ahead.
I wanted to ask really quick. Oh, dang it. No, that sucks.
That happens with the young mind. The young mind just can't retain
I'm sorry.
things.
Never mind. I forgot.
Well, that's an actual thing. People say multitasking, we can't really multitask. At least that's what I read in books. We can task switch.
Yeah.
the generations that grew up with native to the technology, they can task switch better, but you're not actually multitasking. The problem with it, however, is it doesn't do a great job of keeping things in your long-term memory. And you're more prone to do that. So I feel like it's important to acknowledge that, first of all, and then start doing the things that allow you to move, like to maintain your critical thinking, ability. Too many times I think the volume of which people say things is the proof we have of making it true versus the actual skills to look into it.
I remember.
Go.
So my question was, I've heard you guys talk all about like how you can go find the like big ledger, like the spreadsheet or whatever you're calling it. Where can I find that? I've never seen that or seen the place to be able to find something like that.
The hash graph information.
Yeah, all that.
I couldn't tell you exactly off the top of my head.
I can tell you.
There you go.
I could tell you.
It's a big issue to know about. So we keep talking about all of this stuff, and they're great words, blockchain, Web3, and AI. But there is a learning procedure that people are going to have to understand how this chain works. And Ian was nailing on the head. They're just blocks. It's just a word that's being used. It's a train. It's a container, and they just have there's an identifier on it. How do you find it? Is what was used. So there's layers and platforms that are used. If you're trading Bitcoin, then you'll look into what they call a bit scan. If you're trading through Ethereum, it's called Ether scan.
Oh, I've seen that.
If you're using Polygon, it's called Polyscan.
Yeah.
It's called Solana scan. So the scan is kind of what it is, and you're gonna need to have the hash graph to look for. So I was explaining to Nigel, there's transactions happen. Someone sends someone some money, and if they're not on the same layer, if they're not, Solana is trading to them on Solana. The transaction goes through and it sits in the blockchain forever. It's out there from his end. It went through. I sent it. This guy never received it because he was not on the same layer to receive the transaction. So it's sitting out there in the block. The money that got sent, but it never got received. How do I find it? The dude sent the money. So I sent you the money. The other guy going, I never got it. So we have a big problem. Well, fortunately, there's a hash graph. It's a serial number on the block. So the guy who sent it is going to get a hash graph identifier before he pushes send. And that's going to send it out with the identifier on it. So he's the one who sent the money. It's his money. Until it gets received, he's in charge. He has the identifier on the block. And that's how you find, whoever's sending gets the identifier, and you can go back and look it up depending on the platform you use today. But it's a process.
So picture boardrooms alive with holographic AI advisors, tokenizing ideas into instant value. We're launching into a future with these new technologies that are going to bring amazing things before we even know it. Today, I just saw how Notebook LM, one of the big companies that Google had bought, they had just released something that lets you put some kind of, for example, your big lecture from college, it's 3 hours and you don't have 3 hours. You throw it into there, and now it can make you a video overview as if you're watching a YouTube video. Like, what? For a while, it was just you could throw something in and now it could give you like a little script. And that's sick. Now you get to see it and not have to watch it. And then after that, it'll summarize that script for you and tell you the key points, which is awesome. And then it became, now I can speak that summarization to you. And now it's to the point where it'll make you a video. And it's just so nice that it's gotten to this point, because I always thought like, wow, that's really useful. You can listen to it now, but man, I wish it was interactive. I wish you could watch it. But now it's here, and it happened just so quickly. It felt like a year ago that we were at the very start of this ladder, and now we've climbed up the entire ladder almost. It's so nice to see that things are happening so quickly.
And things will happen quicker and quicker. You know, that's what we should be anticipating. For those that are resistant to change, I do think that you're entering into a time and, epoch season, EPHOC or something, EP. I can't remember how to spell epoch, but it's a word. Check it out. We're entering into a season of humanity where change is going to be so accelerated. And so I think we need to be, mindful of that, be ready for that, and try to be open hearted. I think if I could impact the way people feel about the future, the thing that I really want to impact is that I believe the future of this technology, AI, these large language models, voice technology, or Web3, crypto, blockchain, all of this tech, I think it'll work hand in hand. I think the combination of the two will provide a level of accountability and safety. And I think ultimately it's going to be peaceful and boring. Now, we're not even close to being there. And it may not happen in a year. But like within the next decade, I really think that a lot of this technology will be just like turning on a light switch, running water. It'll be something that people get used to, that they're dependent on. Like we can't imagine going back to candles or going back to, the creek, the lagoon, the ocean, and then trying to filter our water. So we have all these advances in automation around that part of our society. And now this is a whole new thing. What is on your mind, Nigel?
Well, I'm so glad that Malakye brought up Notebook LM. For me, that's probably been one of the best pieces of technology that I've experienced in the last year. Or it's definitely top 3, no question. I think everyone can use it. It's not very difficult, and the utility is absolutely there. And to your point about interactivity, not only can you summarize and have it read to you in a podcast form, you could interact directly with the podcast itself and ask questions based on what was said. The important thing for me is, just like with any audio, that you can play it faster. I listen to a lot of audiobooks and I play it at 1.5 speed because I'm interested in the information, and I would love for more people to be interested in the information so that we can get the higher levels of preparedness and higher levels of conversation as a result. It's like being prepared for a meeting and everybody knows what we're talking about. So it's not about the inflection and how great your voice sounds, or you're doing the nighttime show with the Barry White voice. It's not that. It's give me the information, download it in my head. It's a lot more Neuralink than it is, that kind of thing. So I feel like that is a great product to kind of organize that stuff and get you to preparedness.
Yeah. Anything on your mind for the future, Dan? Anything that's been inspiring you?
Tomorrow.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. Looking forward to it. Today's wonderful Wednesday and middle of the week, and seem like if you can just get over that hump day, you got just a couple left of the weekend, so you can get out and enjoy yourself and have some wonderful times with your community. Oh, by the way, Capitola is going to have a Wednesday. They're still continuing their concerts Wednesday night.
Tonight.
So, if you feeling so inclined, and maybe you have a early meal, or the weather's great outside today, so maybe come on down and check that out. That'll be a wonderful outdoor event to share with your community. Santa Cruz is just like 15 miles long. It's that beautiful seashell shaped geographic location that really doesn't have very many others like that.
It's so impressive.
So unique.
I feel like there's not really any other place in the world that has a coast like our shape. It's so nice.
100%.
Think about the future. Here's something to think about a decade out. Could AI govern global finance autonomously? And could it predict markets with 99% accuracy within the next decade? And if that happens, which was an idea that was pushed by DelphiDigital.io recently, if that is true, would humanity be able to thrive in an anti-dystopic environment because finance is able to fuel universal abundance? These are the types of ideas around business and finance that, if governments and massive organizations can think through, okay, how do we empower these AI tools to govern our finance? Because if it can do it with 99% accuracy, that's going to be a whole lot better for all the predictive models, because right now governments don't really know what's going to happen tomorrow. Neither do businesses. That's why everything around the stock market is still very speculative, very gambling oriented. And so this would change that. And ultimately the hope is an anti-dystopic future That's where humanity is basically fueled financially, and the pie does not get split differently. It's just that instead of one financial pie, called a 10 plus trillion dollar, pie, now all of a sudden it becomes many pies. Now it's 100 pies. Now it's 1,000 trillion in terms of a global economy. And then a lot of the scarcity is gone. So it's a post-scarce world. And of course, humans will always have problems. So we're not going to look toward a utopic future, but an anti-dystopic future.
I think the questions to ask are, it's less of, do we think AI can do it? Because I think all of us here can probably agree that AI at some point in the near future is going to have the capability to do something like that. It's just whether its infrastructure is there or if it's going to be put in that position. So it's not, can it do it? It very likely can. The question is, why should we let it, and should we trust it doing something like that? It governing finance is, I don't know, kind of a big thing. Finance is like what the world revolves around. It's the currency that we use. Instead of it being wheat or hay or old gold coins, now it's our little currencies that we make up.
I want to go back to tulips.
That'd be a cool idea.
It was a thing. Lots of things have been a store of value and a way to coordinate trade and compensation, and showing somebody that you value somebody. Today you want someone to work on your car, you give them $1,000. You want someone to do your electrical, you give them $1,000. It used to be that one guy would work on a car, and then the guy that has the car, he'd go to that guy's house and work and do electrical work. But we don't have to have the one-off barter system between two humans. The dollar system, which is basically a system of faith, because it's not backed by gold anymore. So it's a faith-based system, meaning that we have faith in the United States government. We have faith in the United States military, that dollar will be stable or more stable than other forms of currency tomorrow, next year, in a decade from now. Therefore, we all collectively have faith in this thing called the US dollar, and that's how we trade with one another. But if I need someone to work on my car, I don't have to go do electrical for them. And if I need someone to do electrical for me, I don't need to go work on their car. All I have to do is have something that stores value and then give that to them to say, hey, I value the services that you're doing for me. But there's no doubt that money is going to be changing a lot. There's an AI that just got released 6 weeks ago and was given $100 to do trading. And that AI is already up 23% in 6 weeks. The other former AI tools were up 3.5%. So this is a drastic impact. So how quickly are corporations going to all be using
What
this?
AI was that?
I don't know. It's on GitHub. But all these corporations are going to start using the same AI, because if they can put their $100 million into the AI that gets them 20% in 6 weeks, they're doing that all day long.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is, again, the abundance factor. Yeah. So it's a challenging bridge, right? We were on an island called humanity as it was 20 years ago. We crossed the bridge of becoming more cyborg-esque, right? It was one thing to augment our transportation with cars, augment our seeing with glasses. It was a whole other thing to augment our education, our communication, everything with our phones. Now we're on a whole new island, but now we're being ready to go to this new island, a more evolved, more enhanced, more elevated approach to how we communicate with each other and do things. And when you are on the bridge, people do often get hurt. It's not always good for everybody. But I will say this, the opportunity is more extraordinary now than before. So the CEO of NVIDIA, the most valuable company in the world, because they're the ones that make all the AI chips, was just interviewed. And in his interview, he said, there will be more millionaires because of AI made in the next 5 years than the internet made in the last 20 years. So how many people have looked at everyone that made lots of money from the internet the last couple decades, and they go, man, almost for me. I was at that startup. I was at those 3 startups. We thought we were going to hit the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, but this reason, that reason, it failed. If only I would have said yes to that job, then I would have got those stock. Then I would have been wealthy too. If only I would have said yes to that opportunity. Why did I say so? Okay, fine. Whatever. But right now, there's a new opportunity, and the opportunity is to leverage these automation tools, whether it's AI, crypto, or both. And there's an opportunity for anyone to be able to benefit from it. And if it's not money, fine. How about education? How about just getting upskilled? What do you call it? Glow up? How about you glow up your education, right? So you couldn't afford to go to Pepperdine, couldn't afford to go to Berkeley or Stanford. Okay, well, you can go access all the classes today. And if you don't have the time to take all the classes and every single lecture, then do what Malakye just said. Pop into one of these AI tools and get the summary and just start learning. So there's so many opportunities to benefit ourselves with this technology. Any other predictions that have come to your guys' mind when you think about what's coming up? Like, what do you think could happen in a month, in a year, in a decade? What's on your mind?
I'm going to piggyback off of what you said about the opportunity, because I think it's one that's vast. It's a little bit different. It's a little bit more advanced. You think about when Google first started, if you just put in the keyword wine and you were the only one there, you were making a ton of money. That's that. There's a lot more nuance that goes into it now. Same thing with AI. You have to know how to tease or tickle the information out that you need to give you the advantage. Yeah, that's it. Ian with the Michael Jackson. Okay, right.
That's how you laughed when you got tickled.
Yeah, there you go. So I think if understanding that and knowing that the opportunity is there for you to find those nuggets to give yourself a strategic advantage is important. So whether it's a big business or an individual, those opportunities will not always be there, because as we get more advanced, more mature, we start upskilling the level of conversation and education and knowledge and transparency and all these other things. Everybody else is also catching up, also being indoctrinated. So eventually, I think now where it's wide open, companies and countries can do better with their finances. But how long before it becomes my bot against your bot, my AI against his AI, and it's going to just keep going?
Yeah, and that brings up the question kind of about what you were saying earlier about how if those guys with $100 million start using that same AI that made 23%, now you have a bunch of that same AI doing, I don't know, I'd kind of think probably the same thing. And then it almost dilutes it, and then it's not getting 23%. And so it's this weird dilemma of, if we let it go down this path where AI starts getting really good at being able to predict what humans are going to do, but then now it has other things to predict because now AIs are in it as well. Once they get good at that, is there even like a point? Like, does it have a point to wanting to invest in the stock market because all the AIs are doing it? And so it's almost like it just doesn't make any sense anymore.
It'll be something else. Think about it. And as you said that, I thought about this Bitcoin mining. When it first came out, it made a lot of sense. But then you start seeing the after effects, how much power, that's where I'm a huge advocate of whatever it is we do with AI, automation, Web3, it needs to start with being responsible, being green, because it has a physical impact.
Yeah.
And it's going to show its face at some point. You can't think that we're going to be pushing all this energy and nothing's going to happen. That just doesn't make any sense to me. So I think we start with the end in mind. We think about how to do things responsibly. We don't keep putting unnecessary noise on the internet, not knowing that AI has to filter through all that. It's clear to me that you have to be more responsible as a citizen.
What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, kind of like Catch-22. Seems like it moves so fast. It's leap before you look and fix it as you go. Otherwise, you're just left behind. So awesome thought, food for thought, great plan and everything. But it seems like it's saying, I mean, take a look where you're at now. It moves so fast. It gets somewhere and then we fix as we go. Seems like to build the model. If you try to build something perfect, it takes you so long that you just kind of get left behind. So
yeah, I mean, in any startup in history, sorry if I cut you off. In any startup in history, you don't really want to start thinking about the design right away, because then you're not going to make the product. Like, I've seen how if you want to make something, you have to just make it first. and then you can make it good after. And so you can't just expect to have to make everything right away, because then someone else is going to do it as well. And so I feel like it can be a little scary when you take that approach with something like AI, because the alternative doesn't look very good. Having AI be not very regulated, or having it be unethical, or whatever you could come up with, or too power usage. Something like that could be a worry. And so I'm just wondering what you guys think solutions to these kind of things are.
I think when you know better, you do better. If you know ahead of time that there could be consequences, you do better immediately. But the bigger piece, I think, that is more important is we need people who are passionate about what they believe. We need people extremely passionate about the environment, extremely passionate about efficiency. But we also need visionaries that just build it first. You know, as much as I don't necessarily think this is in a vacuum, this is right, but build fast and break things, or move fast and break, whatever the case may be, I think you need both. And then you need some responsible people in the middle who can look at just what's there, so they can see clearly what's in front of them without obstruction, distortion, distraction, competing interest, and keep things in line. And this way we get the best of everything. But I truly believe diversity is going to help us to get there.
Well, when you want to talk about diversity, you know, there's been some folks that have done programs to hand their company over to their employees, like my friend Michael Transportation. He did an ESOP, employee stock, basically over 5 or 10 years, gave the entire company to his employees.
Stock option to purchase.
Yeah. There's one in Watsonville that did this, a big company in Watsonville, but it took trust between the owner and the employees. It took a lot of manual work and great lawyers. And then it took the company being stable for 5 or 10 years so that the employees continue to believe that they wanted to own it in the first place. And it took a group of employees that are like, yeah, we still want to do this even without the main guy being here. I do think that in the near future, even within a decade, workers will own the factories they work at. And that the Web3 tool and the AI integration will allow the employees to all share the profit with one another. And I think this will be a worldwide, phenomenon that'll end up happening.
It's a really amazing idea and vision.
Well, I mean, it would be nice for people to benefit from the work that they do, and so one way that can happen is in this regard. Any final thoughts? I think we're going to go to our commercial.
But how would you get the barrier to entry? What I mean by that is, like, someone who's just starting their job, are you going to want to, like, go sign up to get a job at Safeway, but then now you have to, like, own some of the company? How does that whole situation work?
It's an option.
Yeah, Safeway may not be the best example.
Yeah,
a better example is New Leaf, Staff of Life, Shoppers Corner,
Whole Foods.
Whole Foods may be too big.
They have gotten so big.
Because they're
now,
Amazon.
Yeah. They're conglomerate.
Yeah, you
now.
want to think about a construction company,
Farm
right?
to table.
Like, it would have been nice for Dad to do this with New Habitat. It'd been nice for him to have slowly given New Habitat away to his employees the last 10 to 20 years, because then New Habitat wouldn't shut down when he retires. It just kind of goes from generation to generation, from, team that's doing the work on and on. And it wouldn't have been a matter of emotion, like what does he want to do, just a matter of decision. So let me take us to the end. We're going to be back again tomorrow. So food for thought as we wrap up our show. These technologies are reshaping offices into hubs of bold, decentralized power. So I encourage you, build boldly, use these tools, team up with others, launch your idea today, be courageous. It's worth it. And the tools are there for you to use.
It's so worth it.